Good afternoon, it's Vanessa, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Supervisor Campus Overview Workshop. All have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there is a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. I would now like to turn the call over to Miss Shannon McGarry. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VISTA Campus Tour for Supervisors. Today's workshop, we will present an overview of the VISTA Campus to tools that will help you to perform your work as a VISTA supervisor, along with some resources that you can use that will help you provide VISTA members with the resources that they need so that they can navigate through their VISTA service year. This tour is meant to be about 30 minutes to an hour long, so I hope that giving you an overview of the navigation on the campus and a look into each of the sections, the thinking behind them, and examples of the types of information there, that you'll be able to better see this space as a guide and tool for the work that you are doing. You go ahead and feel free to ask any questions along the way, and you can do that by posting your questions in the chat, and we will go ahead and answer them as we progress throughout today's workshop. Also, we will open the phone lines for questions during the presentation at the end. On the right, you will see that there are a few questions that we would like for you to answer, and your responses help to give us a better idea of who you are, and then will help us to tailor our webinar to meet your needs. So today's presenters are myself. I'm a project specialist with campaign consultation. I'm Shannon McGarry, and we have Andy King, who's a training specialist with AmeriCorps VISTA, and Sharon Robb, who shows up on your chat feature, Suzanne Knisner, who's also a project specialist with campaign consultation. If you need to ask any questions or email Sharon, you can go ahead and send your post to Suzanne. I wanted to make sure that you had a few tips for using WebEx so that in case anything happens that you'll be able to get rid of us and get back connected. So you want to make sure that you make note of the following information. If you lose your internet connection, you can go back to the email and reconnect using the link that was emailed to you. If you lose your phone connection, go ahead and redial the phone number to rejoin. We have noticed that the phone lines have been muted for the first part of the presentation, but we'll open those lines later so that we can take your questions. In the meantime, feel free to ask questions that you might have in the chat section on the right, and we will try to answer those as they occur. So today's agenda, we are going to go over the welcome and the introductions, which is what we're doing now, and then we're going to talk about how you can enter the campus and show you how to log on and create an account. And then we will go through some campus navigation so that we can talk about the layout of the campus so that you don't get lost while you're there. And then we'll review some of the sections, so life as a supervisor, how the VISTAs can connect with supervisors on the VISTA campus, and then reviewing the VISTA member section as well. Finally, we will go over some next steps so that we can help you started on the campus right away. And then we will be doing an evaluation at the end so that we can gather some feedback so that we can help make these more useful for you in the future. The VISTA supervisor brings new challenges to your already busy schedule. So in addition to the recurring recruiting tasks and applications and reports file, you'll probably find yourself serving as a mentor and coach to VISTA members. And so the VISTA campus is really here to help you by providing crucial information and support about your responsibilities. What is set up on your screen is the navigation pane. So when you go trying to log on to the campus, this is where you will enter. There are separate sections for VISTAs, supervisors, state offices, leaders, and alumni. But today we're going to really be spending most of our time in the Supervisors section, which is found in the lower right quadrant of the target. This is where you will find resources that will help you understand the role of supervisors, tools and resources to help you in your VISTAs, and also it will provide you with a way to connect with other supervisors who can answer your questions, and then you can also give advice from your own experiences. We'll go some time near the end of the workshop to show you the VISTA members section, which will be helpful so that you can direct your VISTAs to tools and resources that will help them throughout their service year. So we already have an account. This is actually going to be where you can register for an account to maximize your campus experience. And in order to really get all of the benefits of using the campus, you're going to have to go ahead and do that. So for example, if you wanted to participate in any of the forums and interact with the VISTA map, you'll need to have a sign-in name and a password to do that. We'll talk a little bit more about those features later. But the first thing that we'd like you to do at the end of this webinar is to create your profile. And you can do this by clicking on the Create New Account on the left by the blue arrow. So it's sort of there in the bottom right-hand side of your screen.
Shannon, we can reveal the results of the poll at this point.
Wonderful.
It looks like 3 of you have created a VISTA account. And of how many VISTAs you serve, we have one person who serves 1, and 3 more people serve 2 to 4. And this was a trick question. We hope you will get the answer as we go on through the webinar.
Great, very much, Sharon. Okay, so if you'll notice now on the screen, this is the account details section. You want to, when you're creating an account, you want to select that your supervisor, which is the item I am, and that will give you full access to the supervisor area of the campus. You probably want to create a simple username and password that you will remember, and some fields are required. Those are the ones that are marked with the asterisks. And other supervisors will be especially interested in your program area, so that's a good one to make sure that you're filling out as well. And one of the things that we'd like for you to do at the end of this webinar is to update your profile, and you can do that if you've already created an account just by clicking on your name in the upper right under the circle logos after you register and sign in. And so you can see on your screen there's a blue arrow that's pointing to Sharon Rabb's name. That would be your name when you were signed in. So you can adjust your profile there. Click on that link that you'll be redirected to your profile page, and you can click on Edit Profile, which will allow you to enter more pertinent information. And when you're in the edit page, additional fields are visible. So as you can see, you can include a picture and add some descriptive information about your organization and VISTA project. This helps other supervisors at other similar VISTA projects to connect with you. And so you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that as well. Great. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Andy King, who is going to guide us through the different tools and resources that are available on the campus.
Great, Shannon. And I'm going to take just a moment now to switch over so you can see my desktop. And we'll navigate now onto the campus itself. Let me get to the start page. As Shannon pointed out, the entry point to the Supervisors campus is this quadrant here. And you also notice that there's a little icon that corresponds to the Supervisors section of the campus. It's rows. So throughout campus, you'll see in this upper right corner the icons that represent the major sections of the campus. You can easily navigate among them if you would want to. You can always get back to the supervisor's area, navigating, clicking compass rows. So I point out now that I'm in desktop sharing mode that if you would like to send us a question by chat, you'll notice the chat window has gone from the right-hand side of your desktop. So at the top of the screen, you'll notice a little green tab. And if you move that tab a little, it will slide down and you'll see an icon for chat. If you click on that, a window will pop up, and you can enter your question there, submit it, and then Sharon will raise those questions as we go through the presentation. So that's a little bit about the navigation. As I mentioned, one of the things that you'll be expected to do as a supervisor is to support your VISTA members and ensure their success. You'll do that through managing the project and serving as a mentor for your VISTA members. And for those of you who attended Supervisors Orientation Training, you learned about the terms and conditions of VISTA service and some of the ways that you can support VISTAs at your organization. You learned some VISTA assignment description, site training, orientation and training, and some of the other pieces that you'll be expected to provide. It was information presented in those few days that you were at the training for those of you who attended. It was probably more than you can absorb. So that's one of the reasons why we have the campus. And also for multi-site projects, we don't send every single site supervisor to training. So there may be few on the call today who haven't yet been to supervisor orientation. So the campus is going to become a really crucial resource for you since we're getting information and direction from your primary supervisor or the project manager for your VISTA project. All right, so you can see here from the VISTA page, it's divided into several sections. Look here at the items on the left. There are a couple of navigation buttons. The supervisor events calendar. This is where you can see events that are coming up that are of interest broadly to VISTA members, supervisors, and others. Like for instance, tomorrow we have a VISTA campus tour for VISTA members. Today is highlighted in this kind of orange color for this campus tour that we're doing right now for supervisors. So when you're in the supervisors area of the campus, these highlighted on the calendar are specific to supervisors, and then the gray ones are sort of campus-wide. So you can see the webinar coming up in a couple of weeks. The calendar is a link to what we call the campus catalog. It's essentially a site map to help you find resources on the VISTA campus. And then here's a link directly to the supervisor's manual. And I do want to point out that the supervisor manual is the companion piece to the member handbook. So the policies and procedures that relate directly to VISTA members are the VISTA member handbook. So as a supervisor, you need to be very familiar with those. And the supervisor manual is the companion piece that covers all of those responsibilities that fall on the supervisor. So things like recruitment and hosting, developing VADs, providing on-site orientation and training. So those roles and those functions belong to the supervisor, and so they're covered in the supervisor manual. So between the handbook and the supervisor manual, it covers a lot of the policy and procedural information that you'll need to be aware of. A couple sections here on this landing page. The navigation to the two main areas of the supervisor's campus. One is life as a supervisor. We'll spend much of our time today looking at the resources there. an area called Connect with Supervisors, and that will we'll look at that as well, and it helps you to route and communicate, find, and connect with other supervisors to get support, information, ideas, and resources. And at the bottom is a little widget that provides sort of a window, a little thumbnail shot at some of the communication that's happening through the Connect with Supervisors area. So we have an announcements section with a feed of messages that come from headquarters. The forum called Supervisors Cafe, where other supervisors are posting messages. You can see those and respond to them, communicate, ask questions, get answers, and all of that. So that's the landscape of the landing page here for supervisors. And if we scroll down just a little bit further, a couple more things to note. There is a list of top resources. So these are kind of the most frequently accessed items here for supervisors. And there's a section called One Stop Shop where we have assembled the most needed and accessed resources all on one page. So if you're looking for something and you want to find it quickly, I think at the bottom of the page, and it'll be on probably one of these two places. If not, you can always use the catalog and conduct a search. All right, take a look at the section called Life as a Supervisor. And you see it's laid out as a desktop. And right here in the middle is a section called Roles and Responsibilities. And that's where I'd like to start today. Because as a VISTA supervisor, you do have a number of different roles, and I want to make sure that you're comfortable with what those roles are, and that you also have some resources available that will help you in carrying out those roles. This is divided into 6 different areas. One is called the Big Picture, and this talks about how VISTA fits into the overall national service landscape and who's Operation for National and Community Services. There's also a piece in here that is a comparison of the roles of a VISTA supervisor versus a VISTA leader. Because of your projects, larger projects, will also have VISTA leaders, and sometimes there's little uncertainty about what does the leader do versus a supervisor. So we have a role comparison chart there. There are resources here. The program, with the annual direction that comes from VISTA, is located here, as well as instructions for concept papers and applications. The next look at is called Getting Started. And many of you, if you attended the supervisor orientation there last week or a couple of weeks ago, probably have already been through this section. If you have others at your site or at your organization that are also VISTA supervisors who did not get to attend, or yourself are what we consider a sub-site supervisor and didn't attend orientation, this section has a lot of information that's really helpful to give you a overall orientation to what VISTA is about and what the role of a supervisor is. So resources are here. One course in particular that I want to mention, that's called the Terms, Conditions, and Benefits course for supervisors. This is a Flash-based interactive course. It's a version similar to the one that the VISTA members are required to take before they attend the service orientation. But we have a special version for supervisors. And we'll look at that again in just a minute. Here again is a link to the supervisor manual, which I mentioned earlier. You can see here that it's organized as an online book with chapters. So here's chapter 1 with an overview, and you can page by page, a little bit of the history. Here's President Johnson announcing in 1964 the first group of VISTAs that were about to go serve. So there's a chapter on recruitment, chapter on getting ready and getting your site ready for your VISTA members to come. So the Supervisor's Manual. Another course that's in here is on writing effective volunteer assignment descriptions or VISTA assignment descriptions. And this is something, even if you already have in your project site published VADs, that things are always changing, and you may need to go back and update or revise the VADs based on project success or environmental actions that change the needs in the community. So this course will guide you through what the elements are that go into a VISTA assignment description and make a really clear and useful one. There's another here in the roles and responsibilities area, member policies. And again, as a supervisor, it's important for you to understand what the conditions and policies are that will affect your VISTA members and the restrictions that they have to abide by. So here's the Terms, Conditions, and Benefits course for supervisors. If you have not yet seen the course, this is what it looks like. Again, it's based, so unfortunately can't yet take this course on an iPad or an iPhone, but by using a flash-enabled PC or computer, you can do that. So this is designed around several developments. Some are little quizzes, and the other, which you can barely see in the background, looks like a little town. Each building represents a different aspect of the terms, conditions, and benefits of VISTA service. And by entering each building and completing the activities there, the members learn what the policies and conditions of service are, and then they are able to complete it one building at a time. I want to know that there is an additional resource here for supervisors called TCB. That's our abbreviation for Terms, Conditions, and Benefits, TCB Key Points. So I think a page document that summarizes the information. If a member comes to you with a particular question, so you want to take a college course, or it's campaign season and they want to be involved somehow in a campaign, they know what they're allowed to do and what they're not, this would be the place to go. So it doesn't contain the full policy, just contains the summary information. And then to get the full information, you can go to the TCB course itself. And at the bottom here is a PDF format for the full content. So this has all the detailed information. And then, of course, and in the back, I'll mention there's detailed information about the Hatch Act, which governs employees and federal program participants like VISTA members. It governs their participation in political activities. So more detailed information there as well. And of course, the VISTA member handbook, which we've already mentioned, contains, again, the detailed policy information. For your role around informing your members and guiding them when it comes to policies, if the questions at any time or a situation presents itself, it seems the gray area, Of course, your CNCS state office is your point of contact and your next resource to get information to help you with those questions. And you're wondering where you can find out about how to contact your state office. We have a directory here in the resources and contacts section. So you can go to your corporation state office list and state, the contacts are listed here. Things I'm going to mention, and then we will pause and see if you have any questions. So there's a section here called Working with Subsites. And I don't know how many of you might be working in a multi-site project, but if you are, this has some information that will be of importance to you. And one of the pieces that we try to point out for all multi-site projects is it's important for us to know exactly where each of your VISTA members are serving. The reason for that is multiple. One is, of course, VISTA allowances are set by the county in which they are serving. The other is we often get questions from elected officials and other government agencies and local community leaders know where we've placed VISTAs, and do we have any VISTAs in a particular congressional district or in a county or serving a municipality. And the only way we can know that is if we have the actual site address listed in the AmeriCorps portal. If your members have your headquarters address listed, even though they're serving across the state or across the country, then it's not very useful, and we can't know and can't tell where members are serving. So it's pretty simple to update the addresses. The instructions are right here. So to make a quick mention of that. Let's go back here and look at one other piece. Reporting and evaluation. So this is another role, obviously, you have as a VISTA supervisor. It is to collect, maintain, and report on activities and the outcomes of what your VISTAs are doing. So we have several different reporting mechanisms for doing that. There's a financial piece, there's a programmatic piece, and so the forms and instructions are located here. So it's kind of alphabet soup of acronyms, but the guidance is here. So if you run into questions or are not quite sure what you're expected to report or which forms to use, so here in the reporting evaluation section. Okay, so this is probably one that you're going to visit a lot, and we've only had a chance to just kind of point you to resources that are here. Before I continue, I'd like to just open the phone lines and see if there are any questions that have come up at this point. So, Vanessa, can you open the lines and let people know how they can ask a question?
Yes, sir. At this time, I would like to remind everyone, if you'd like to ask a question, press *1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile a Q&A roster. Again, ask a question, press *1. Questions at this time.
All right. Thank you, Vanessa. Well, let's move on then and back to the, we'll go back to Life as a Supervisor section here. So took a look already at the section called Roles and Responsibilities. And now we're going to move on and look at just a couple of other areas that are outlined here. So the next I want to point out is writing and adapting VADs. And that's in this section of the VISTA assignment. So your VISTA assignment description is is really sort of the baseline information that each of your members has that guides them in what it is they're expected to accomplish during their service year. And the more clear and specific the assignment description is, better idea your members will have on what it is they're expected to do, and they can hit the ground running and actually get a lot more accomplished more quickly. So we have a number of resources here on creating VISTA assignment descriptions and how to adapt them, so that you can sort of keep abreast with changes in your program. We use the VISTA assignment descriptions at pre-service orientation, and we have a whole section to help the VISTA members understand what's in their VAD and how they can use it to create their own work plan for the year. I also strongly suggest that when you're conducting your on-site orientation training, that you use that as well to help connect the dots for your members so that they see the information that's listed in the VAD, understand how it connects with the needs in your local community, and then what it is that they're expected to do during a service year. So that's sort of a one-page guide on how to incorporate the VAD into your on-site orientation and training. And that up to the next piece I want to point out, and that is this section on orienting your VISTAs. So VISTA provides what we call service orientation for your members before they begin service, and the PSO focuses on some of the big topics in America, community entry, cultural identity, and skill-based sessions on volunteer engagement or resource development and partnership building. We review civil rights and responsibilities of VISTA members and the terms, conditions, and benefits. But the task of orienting them to the specific role that they're going to play at your organization and in your community really rests at your organization. And so that is the on-site orientation and training, as we call it, OSOT. And so we've assembled a few resources here on designing your training. We suggest some key elements that you would include in your training plan, and then materials and tips on how to develop and deliver your orientation effectively. So there's information on adult learning, learning styles, and a few resources here. Know that serving trainer is probably just one of the hats that you're wearing as a supervisor. Here, another role of a VISTA supervisor is to coach and to support your VISTA members. And there are a number of resources in there on developing an effective relationship with your VISTA members, solving problems, and helping your VISTA members in problem solving for themselves. So we try to empower our members to their own issues as best they can, but of course along the way it's likely that they'll need some support. Ongoing training on how to support your VISTA members in developing their own professional development plan. And we support that here through the national office by providing a couple of webinars every month for members on a whole range of topics, from using social media to build your base of participants in your project or your community organization, to volunteer recognition, fundraising, personal budget planning. So lots of different topics. Those are all listed on the calendar that I saw a minute ago on the campus. So your members at any time can see what's coming up and they can click through and register to join. One of the that probably you'll never get away from is the role of recruiting. And of course, recruiting for VISTA members has some similarities to recruiting other staff members, but in some ways it can be very different. VISTA has its own cycle of recruitment. The timeline can be very different, and the mechanisms and the means by which you may go about recruiting members can be very different from what you would do for a paid staff position. One of the background resources here is under VISTA Facts. So it just gives some information you can pull from to put into your recruitment messages and to help explain what VISTA is and what your VISTA positions are all about. The second, successful VISTA traits, gives you some information about why VISTAs choose to serve and how you can tap into motivation in your recruitment efforts. We also have a resource here looking at characteristics of successful VISTAs, the ones who've been effective in their work, and what kinds of qualities, skills, and attributes did they have as identified by their own VISTA supervisors. So with the makes a VISTA successful and why they serve, you can then start to put together your recruitment messages and your outreach. Now, you may be serving in projects you need to target specific types of individuals to serve as VISTAs or to into particular communities. So we have some information here on targeted recruitment. Here are considerations for working in rural communities or in village communities. Here's a flat-based course on building a diverse team, recruiting older adults as VISTA members. So again, a source is there to support your recruitment work. And then there's a whole section here on how to use the AmeriCorps portal. It's one of the primary recruitment tools, and by having your VISTA positions effectively described and posted in the My AmeriCorps portal, it gives a great channel for attracting potential members and candidates that you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. But of course, it's just one mechanism, and we know that most projects use their local recruitment techniques or other online mechanisms to get word out about their VISTA opportunities. The section here is on selecting a candidate. So it's about our requirements for criminal history background checks, the interviews, and some of the information about travel, because if you recruit VISTA members nationally and they're going to relocate to serve in your community, we do provide some limited financial support to defray the costs of their relocation travel. So that's here on the selecting a candidate section. All right, just a couple more things. The transitioning section here talks about the sustainability of your overall VISTA project by planning ahead for the end of term for your VISTA members. They come on year, they've got a lot to accomplish in that short amount of time, and then to be successful and to keep momentum going for the next VISTA to come on board, there are a number of things that you can do as a supervisor to make that transition a smooth one. So that's it for this section called Life as a Supervisor. I point out the Connect with Supervisors section. We saw already a few of the elements from the landing page. We have this announcements and alerts section where you will receive announcements that come from headquarters here. Sometimes they're programmatically related or maybe around requirements or deadlines. Other times it's just around what's happening with the VISTA campus. When announcements come out, if you have a registered account here on the campus, you automatically receive an email in your inbox to keep you alerted to those things. Very frequent, so don't worry that you're going to be getting an email every day. So we keep the communication focused to a minimum. Supervisor forums are a way that you can communicate with other VISTA supervisors, reach for ideas, for support, for suggestions. Conversely, if you want to celebrate a success story, we'd love to hear those and have them posted. If you have resources or promising ideas that you think other projects might implement, you can post them there as well. A job board for VISTA members, and so if you particularly are looking to hire at your organization, we encourage you to post your position here on the VISTA job board. Otherwise, if you're looking for a VISTA leader, you have a leader position to fill, the job board is a great way to promote it. Then down the bottom here on the supervisor page is a link to the map. And I mentioned this at the beginning. We do have an interactive VISTA map where VISTA who has a campus account has a pin on the map here, and again, the more accurately they complete their profile, the better we know where they're serving. This also allows us to plot out where our VISTA leaders are serving and where VISTA alumni have been located and where they're currently located. So you can go back in time. I'll scroll down a little bit further. You can see timeline here, and you can slide back and go to a particular year, see who was and where they were located. And there's also an animation feature, so you can just play, and over time it'll show how the numbers shift and where the placements have changed over the decades. So it's a great if you want to maybe find out where alumni are in your local area, because they may have been other places, but their VISTA experience might be really useful for your organization or for your current members. Many of our alumni are looking for ways to stay engaged with work of VISTA. They are not able to serve as a VISTA member at this point. So you can use that to find other VISTA members or to find alumni or leaders, and they can also use that to find each other. So great resource, and we invite you to check it out and to let your members know about it as well. A couple of we have a VISTA Supervisors listserv. It's independent of VISTA and the Corporation for National Community Service. It seems to be a relatively active discussion list, so we continue to have a link to it here. We don't monitor or manage it at all. We're to Meetup, and if you're familiar, Meetup is a way to organize events and to engage people in those events using the Meetup platform. Got some instructions here and some examples of how other VISTA projects and states are using the Meetup to bring people together. So that's it for supervisors area. I do want to point out a few things in the VISTA members section of the campus that you'll be able to point your VISTA candidates and VISTA members to these important areas. So on the landing page for VISTA members, you can see at the top is a slideshow that highlights certain features of the campus for them. Their section is divided into three main areas. One is called Life as a VISTA, the other is the work, and then a similar Connect with VISTAs. The Life as a VISTA area includes the section on getting started. So for all your new VISTA candidates, I would direct them to go here, and then they participate in this 5-part onboarding course. So it's sort of the welcome packet, They take them to conditions and benefits. There's a winning civil rights and responsibilities course, VISTA resource board, and then this animated course on using the education award. So these are all highly interactive, and we hope so entertaining to keep their interest. That is the starting VISTA section, and again, every VISTA is expected to complete all of that before they come to PSO. Other resources here in the Life as a VISTA section include resources around the living allowance so they can understand when they're going to get paid and how much. There's background on VISTA history and missions, similar to one that is in the supervisors area, but we did not take a look at. We have materials here from pre-service orientation in electronic format, so if they want to go back and look at anything, they can do that. We've got a help section, and then we help them plan for a life after VISTA by giving them some guidance on some career development steps and some other opportunities that might be available to them. So that's the section called Life as a VISTA. The work is focused, as you might guess, on the major kinds of work that VISTA members do with volunteers, raising funds, communication, outreach and marketing, community development work, partnership development, the list goes on. So you see all the topics here, and within each area, the number of courses and resources that VISTA members take. In the Connect with Vistas section, they have a whole series of their own forums where they can raise questions and support each other, and the VISTA map that we just took a look at. But with social media for our members, we have a Facebook page, a Twitter feed, a YouTube channel, and then also a Flickr site. So if you're ever interested in wondering what Vistas are doing in other places, take a look particularly at YouTube and Flickr, where we have lots of videos and pictures that really illustrate what Vistas are doing in creative ways around the country. There's one more thing I need to show you here. So there is a relative news section on the campus called Ongoing Learning. And, this is the page that shows professional development opportunities for your VISTA members. So we have campus tours similar to this one for your VISTA members, and we invite all of them to come right after PSO. As I mentioned earlier, we also have webinars for VISTAs every month, and they can find them on the calendar, or they can come here to find out about them. And then the third piece that I have not yet mentioned is called the VISTA Blend. And these are blended learning courses. That is, the first part of the course is face-to-face training that happens at pre-service orientation. And the second part is an online course, generally 10 to 12 weeks, on a topic of either poverty in America, volunteer mobilization, or resource development. And by participating in these courses, VISTA members can earn college credit. Of course, free, there's just a $40 administrative fee to get the certification for the university credit. But by clicking here, they can get all the information about that. So if one of your members comes to you and says they want to participate in one of the VISTA Blend courses, that's what we're talking about. And if you want more information, you can just go here on the in the video. It's called Ongoing Learning. So that's it for our formal tour. I do want to open up the phone lines again. So if you can open lines, we'll see if there are any other questions that have come up.
Reminder, if you would like to ask a question, press R1 on your telephone keypad. Pause for just a moment to file the Q&A roster. Again, press star 1. Please hold for your first question.
Thank you. Well, I'm in over the chat, so while we're waiting for the phone question, I'll see if I can handle this one. This question came from Kirk, and he says, will you talk about the project plan and how to create it? While we don't have a specific resource here on the campus related to the project plan, we do have the guidelines and instructions for creating the project application, and the project plan is part of that. And as you probably know, the project plan is the 3-year overall plan for the whole VISTA project. And the idea being that you'll have 3 different VISTA members come and serve in 3 consecutive years. And then out of the project plan, you develop the VISTA assignment description for one segment of that project plan. So VISTA number 1 gets of that. VISTA number 2 gets a slightly different VAD because they're building on the work of the first VISTA, and then your 3rd year VISTA would have a different VAD again, and those would flow directly out of the plan. And so the VISTA assignment description, the contents of that should be used in developing your recruitment messages and your position postings that go on my AmeriCorps site or on any other recruitment sites that you use. And our procedures are shifting a little bit related to the VAD. And so starting now with the next cycle of recruitment, the VAD will be available through the portal. You'll actually enter the information into eGrants so that it's part of your overall project materials. And their VISTA candidates will be able to go in and see the VAD before they accept the position, because recognize that sometimes the VISTA member, the candidates, have a little disconnect, and they're not clear on what's going to be expected of them until they've already agreed to a position. So that's how now the project plan and the VAD are coming together to be part of recruitment. Question from the phone lines?
Yes, sir. Your first question comes from the line of Kirk Goddard.
Thank you.
Well, I'll just state my frustration, because while they were gathering information, apparently you were answering my questions that I sent through the chat line about the project plan and the VAD, and I just caught the end of it.
Sorry.
My specific question then on the phone line is that we're going through and you were talking about the VISTAs and things that we're supposed to go over with them. And since I've just come from the training, and one of the things they emphasized in the training is all the training the VISTAs were going through, in regards to the things you were saying that we need to go through with them, and not that I have anything against going through with them, part of it is, what is the responsibility of VISTA? Like, what can I expect the VISTA to know in regards to terms and conditions? You know, everything from leaving early to like the financial things, you know, as part of their responsibility to be knowledgeable when they come in the door. Or do I just have to make sure that I go through everything with them regardless?
Right. That's a great question. And I think certainly your VISTA members do have a responsibility to be familiar with what's in the VISTA member handbook. We recognize that not all of them are going to read it cover to cover, but they should at least be reading through the table of contents and reading those sections that apply to them now as they're getting started. I think there are certain pieces that are so important around the terms and conditions of service that it bears mentioning, even just as a reminder or a check-in, to your members understand what the restrictions are around outside work, political activity, the consequences if they don't complete their full term of service, and some of those others. And if your project is new, or if you're a new supervisor, you may not have yet a sense of which questions are going to be most frequent in your members' minds. But if you've been around them at all, it becomes clear pretty quickly which kinds of things VISTAs are unsure about. And so those are the ones that we would recommend that you remind them about or emphasize. But you're right, we at VISTA provide them with the online training around their terms, conditions, and benefits and the member handbook PSO. We review that again. We give them a little quiz to make sure that they've assimilated at least most of it. But it's probably in your own interest and your project's interest to emphasize a few of them again. Good question.
And if you would like to ask a question, press star 1 on your telephone keypad. We will pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. To ask a question, press star 1. There are further questions at this time.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. We're going to actually conclude now, and we'll turn you back over to Shannon. So she'll give you just a few more ideas and resources for going forward, and we have a quick little evaluation form that we'd like you to fill out.
Thank you so much, Andy. We're just going to stop sharing the desktop. For a moment. Now that you've completed your supervisor's training and had a chance to learn about what was on the campus, we just wanted to provide you with a few things that you can do right now. And the first thing is what we were talking about in the beginning, which is to update your profile so that other supervisors will know where you are located and be able to gather information about your program. And this is a great way for you to get yourself pinned onto the map as well so that others will be able to find you. Additionally, you'll find that you are going to some of the same pages again and again, and you'll identify tools and resources that are most useful for you. So you can go ahead and bookmark those that are the ones that you think are going to be the most important and the ones that you will be returning to frequently so that you can quickly get to them when needed. Also, there's a lot of material in the members section of the campus, which was the last section that Andy reviewed with you. And so take a little bit of time to familiarize yourself with that section so that you'll be able to direct VISTAs to the tools and resources working on their projects. And finally, you forum to introduce yourself, pose a question, or post a response, and then that will also connect you to other VISTA supervisors. So really join in that conversation. And you'll notice that there's an evaluation that is going to be loading. So please take a few moments to share your feedback and help us figure out what would be most helpful for you to learn about the campus and in what ways we are able to improve these sessions. Thank you again for your time and your participation. You'll join us on Wednesday, September 19th at 2 p.m. For Networking in Your Community webinar. This webinar is geared for members, so you may also want to promote it to the VISTAs that are working with you. But a good opportunity to get everybody involved. And if you have any further questions or need more information, you can contact us at VISTA Campus at campaignconsultation.com. Thank you again, and have a wonderful afternoon.
To today's conference call, you may now